Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Bart coming to you from TST Industries in Florida with another episode of TST Garage. With me in the shop is second generation Honda Grom. What are we doing? We have a new integrated tail light coming out, and we'd like to show you how to install it on that bike. This particular light is available in a choice of clear or smoked lens. It comes with a vehicle specific sub harness and 2 screws that are necessary for the installation on this bike. The installation is really simple, but you may wonder why we didn't just wire in the appropriate connectors to the actual taillight. We wanted to develop a taillight that fits a number of different applications, so we did just that. This particular taillight with a slightly different sub harness fits the Grom, first generation Grom Monkey, CB and CBR 650 model, CRF 450L Super Cub, CTX 700, and a couple other models that I won't mention at this moment because we don't have sub harnesses for them yet. When we do, you'll see the video. So let's quickly brief over some of the specifics of the design of this taillight. As you can see, it is vastly different to the OEM unit. The unit on this bike is red tinted as it comes from the factory. We do have a couple different lens colors like I mentioned before. We also designed a dual layer LED board so that we can pack it with more LEDs than anybody else on the market. We do have the signals integrated into the capsule. We do have a dual stage brake system that uses all of the LEDs on board that typically do 80% for running light. It kicks them up to 100% for brake light, and then also lights up these little sections on the bottom with really high intensity LEDs that fire through Fresnel lens elements on the inside and then the quadradomes on the outside. This results in a very even light output, and it also packs a punch. This light is very bright, as you will see in just a moment. We've packed it with a bunch of cool features. We have a running light rib system that stays on whether you're braking, signaling, or in running light mode. We have the hexadome diffusing elements, the quadradomes, a lot of cool little things that most people don't think about when they look at a taillight, but we've thought about it. We really wanted this thing to be awesome, and I think we brought that out in this unit. Now, for a couple of years now, we've already been offering this integrated taillight system along with an undertail for the Grom. It does require a little bit more modification than the simple installation of this unit on the bike, but a lot of people have opted to go with this over any of our competitors. This really revamps the whole tail end of the bike. It's plug and play, but it is a little bit more intricate. We do have a video if you're interested in researching that. You can check that out on our YouTube channel or our website, tstindustries.com. You read more about this and then make a decision whether you want to go with this or our new integrated taillight. The one thing that this taillight has that's not featured on our undertail system is the ability to program different modes. Just like on our other high-end taillight systems, we have 9 different programmable states, or rather 9 different combinations of programmable states that are accessible via the press of a button. One final consideration to make is what's going to happen when you remove your OEM signals off the bike and replace them with LED signaling equipment. At this point, maybe you already have taken care of this and have an LED flasher relay or maybe resistors wired in. I don't know what the case is, but if you don't, you're probably going to need an LED flasher relay like this one from TST Industries as well. If you do not have some means of load balancing or changing the flash rate, the OEM relay will keep your signals just stuck on. On this particular bike, there's no hyper flash. The bike doesn't just start signaling faster, it just gets stuck in the high intensity signal mode and basically won't have signals. You'll just have an amber light. So something needs to be done about it. We do have these always in stock, so I hope you consider those. And that's pretty much all I have to say here on the table. I'm really excited to get this thing installed for you. It'll take me about 5 minutes. Let's get started. Let's get started by removing the seat. Put that to the side and identify the blue wire here to the OEM taillight. There is a wire management clip here. It's a bendy metal type. We unbend it, get this wire out, find the plug that it plugs into, And then we will unlock and withdraw that. I like to use a little screwdriver. It makes it a lot easier. Push up on the locking tab and withdraw the plug. And then we could snake it back all the way back to here. Here we have this dual clamshell closing clip. It does have some ratcheting features in it that lock it down, as you can see here. You pry up and it just comes apart. And then internally it does have these retaining walls that need to be pried back to take the wire out. And now this is free. In addition, since the taillight is integrated with signals already in it, if you're going to be using the signals within it and not just external signals, we'll need to get down to where this additional wire goes to. Pull back on the boot. This exposes a 4-position Sumitomo connector. We'll press on the locking tab, withdraw the connector, and all these wires here are basically your 2 signal wires, a ground, and your license plate light wire. If you're wiring in a license plate light into your build, then you'll go into one of these wires here. This particular bike does not have a signaling system on it at the moment. We've just retained this harness for demonstration purposes for this video. So you'll see me take it out entirely. Typically this would be connected to your tail lighting system on the fender. In this case, we'll just take it off. Now we'll grab a 10mm socket and remove these 2 nuts. Now I want to make a note about this. When you get to the end, leave yourself a couple threads. These very easily fall into this frame tube and go all the way up front, and then they're a pain to take out. I've done it many, many times. So I've developed different techniques to prevent that from happening. Just do the last couple threads by hand. And the washers you see here, we are actually going to retain them and reuse them on the new taillight. So let's keep these handy. And all we have to do now is push towards the rear of the bike and the taillight comes off. Okay, the reinstallation of the new taillight is very simple. Feed the wire in through this gap in the subtray and get your screw bosses in the taillight enclosure aligned and bottomed out on the subtray grommets that were left behind from the disassembly of the OEM taillight. Now the taillight enclosure is molded out of thermoplastic ABS. The screw bosses come without a thread, and then we will cut a brand new thread with a trilobular self-threading screw. This requires bottom out and then maybe like a 10% turn to lock it in place. Do not go beyond that, as you may damage the boss and render the taillight unusable. It is very, very difficult to actually do that, but if you go to the gym too much, you're probably going to be able to do that. Bottom out and then 10%. And now we're good to go. The taillight actually has catching features on the inside of the larger boss that capture the entire rubber grommet from the inside, and then you have your washer and your screw that lock it in place. This is very secure and it won't vibrate off on you, so no worries there. As you can see, we have the 7-position plug here that mates to our sub harness via the female portion of that plug. Push that together until it clicks, and then we will have to reroute these wires. I generally just go in the reverse order of disassembly. So I will get my primary lead here into that little containment window behind that retaining wall, as I called it in the disassembly. and then snap this together. This is good to go. Then we'll go to the outside of this plastic tab of the sub tray, route it down through this channel under this clip, get our connectors through this void in between the sub tray and the tail fairing mounting tab. And now we have a little bit of wire excess here. We deliberately gave you guys some slack in case you have some other components that you need to get around. It's just handy to have that. So our wiring guide here, cable management clip, should probably be shortened, or you just have to loop it around and then it becomes secure. And then it's just a game of plugging stuff in. Boom, boom. And we just tuck it away and we can test our taillight. All right, let's power this thing up. Take a look at some of the functions. We have the running light. This is our strobe alert brake. And we have the scrolling or sequential signal type. Like I said before, the button remains accessible. You can just toggle through all the functions. We'll show you those in a little bit. I'd like to put the seat back on and complete this installation. See, I was in line. A couple minutes with a few simple tools and you could have your Grom looking like this. If you'd like more information about this taillight, please visit tstindustries.com. You can see pictures of it installed on different bikes and different versions of the lens. You could get more info, you could get the specifics on all the technology that went into making this unit, and then you could get it ordered online. See you there.